There he is.
Listen, thanks for saying such nice things about me.
Thank you, man. Well, hey, look, they come from the heart, Tim, and their truth. And thank you, man. I appreciate you. I can't wait to have you come to Miami, be at the VIP Mastermind on October 8th. Look, if I sort of stayed here and did a proper biography, I think we'll be here for the next hour or so. So I'm just going to do a quick little summary, and then I want to hear from you, man, and all the wonderful things you've done, right? Look, we've all been through tough times. We've all been. That's it's part of the human experience. I don't care if you are living in a one-bedroom apartment or if you're living in a mansion of $50 million. I don't care if you're the president of the United States or if you're living in a hut somewhere in Africa. We are all going through tough things. You yourself have been through things. You've been through divorce. The issues and the challenges with your mother, which I want to obviously talk about. And you coach the greatest, some of the biggest athletes. For those of you that maybe might not know Tim, or you say, you know what, I recognize him. Where do I see him? Well, you might have seen him, in the Oprah show. He was at in Super Soul Sundays, a bit back, and he's been he's been coaching some of the greatest, and he'll be with us at the VIP Mastermind on October 8th, live in person, Miami, coaching you guys, making sure that you change your mentality for the better. So without further ado, Tim, what is the one thing people can do right now to switch their mindset if they're going through a tough time?
So number one, I'm excited about the event. Can people still sign up?
They can. They should. We're still doing the early bird discounted tickets. So if people want to sign up, I've put here the website, VIPmastermind2021.com. They can go get their tickets today.
Okay. So one reason I'm going is because I love what you're doing. So let's start there.
Thank you, man.
So I love what you're doing and that you're a visionary. And I feel like what's happened to us through COVID-19 is that it's what I call a life interruption. Mm-hmm. So what happens in life, hopefully you have some momentum and then your life can get interrupted. It could be a relationship problem. It could be a problem with your kids. It could be a problem with your health. Mm-hmm. But in this case, we had an interruption like we've never seen in our lifetime. A pandemic that hit every part of the globe. And what I've found that in this interruption, most people don't know how to get back up. And so this is one thing that I'm helping people with their mindset and their mentality to how to get back up.
Thank you, man. And I think that's a great way to start this. I think, if something that the pandemic has increased for people has been anxiety and depression, right? I think there's this sort of taboo that people don't want to talk about, that anxiety is a sort of horrible word. I say this open and wholeheartedly with honesty. Man, I've dealt with anxiety for some time. I worked with the U.S. government. I had the great pleasure to serve President Barack Obama at the Department of Health and Human Services. And I was going through, I loved the job, but sort of the conditions that I had to go through, right? Secret clearance, you name it. I went through anxiety, and I've taken medicines to sort of battle that. In addition to cognitive therapy and things like that. And today, years later, I'm doing much better. But one of my life missions, Tim, is to normalize things like anxiety, depression. We've all been through it.
Yes.
The pandemic sort of level up things like anxiety. The issue with anxiety, I think, is that people are always focusing the future. They don't know when their next paycheck will come from. They don't know if they're going to get that new job. If they're freelancers, they don't know when their next gig is going to show up. So what do you recommend for people to do to be at peace, even though they don't know what tomorrow may bring?
Yes. So number one, I like what you're saying about anxiety or even depression that people face on a daily basis. And like you, I know a lot of people who do very well. And just so you guys know, other people that do well are struggling with anxiety and depression. So there's two things that we are going through at one time. One is recovery. Second is discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are going through recovery from anxiety, depression, maybe even addiction, loneliness, you have to make sure that you don't miss the discovery.
Yeah.
The discovery is what is unfolding today. Could you imagine the moment that we're having right now on Instagram? Listen, you've never had it before.
Yeah.
You never saw handsome Jose or me with my cool glasses. You've never seen this.
True.
This moment, you've never seen my hand move like this ever before. So right now, you're going through recovery, but at the same time, you're having discovery. So what I need you guys to focus on is, okay, I'm going through recovery and I'm getting better. But also, I don't want to miss the miracles that are all around me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that today is a day you prayed for yesterday? Today is the day you prayed for yesterday. When you're praying, dear God, make my life better. Okay, here comes today. And if you are putting yourself down, are so frustrated about your own anxiety or depression or your challenges, you're missing the miracles of today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's exactly right, and I agree with you. I mean, and thank you for sharing that, because I think we all need a little bit more of that. Talk to me about the book. Why did you decide to write the Miracle Mentality? What is sort of the overarching sort of thesis of the book?
So the Miracle Mentality was written behind a story about Walt Disney. That's how it started. Mm-hmm. Walt Disney went into an amusement park in the 1930s.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful story. Watch. And he tells his friend, one day, I'm going to build my own amusement park, but mine's going to be different, better, and more magical. So when I would travel around the world, I've been to 75 countries now.
Amazing.
I would teach on different, better, more magical. If I spoke to little kids in South Africa about different, better, more magical, they lit up. If I spoke to a stadium of people overseas in another country like Rome, they would get excited. If I talked to Oprah Winfrey about different, better, more magical, she'd get excited. So I realized that everybody feels in our heart we should live a life that is different, better, and more magical. Now, the word magical means a miracle, milagro, something that is supernatural, something that is extraordinary, something that is uncommon. This is who we are. We were created to be different, better, and more magical. So my book, The Miracle Mentality, which is doing very, very well, I teach people how to reach in and pull out the miracle lifestyle that you were created to walk in.
I love it. Different, better, and more magical. And look, and if Walt Disney did it in the 1930s, where we didn't have the technology that we have today, and he created this wonderful place and the amazing brand that the Disney brand is just, it's amazing in every sense of the word. Why can't we do it today, right? With more technology, with the Instagram, before, back in those times, Tim, if you wanted to do a business deal, you had to send a letter to folks, right? There was no internet. And today you can just literally send a message and just connect with people. It's amazing. It's beyond me.
So I love how you're thinking. So what happened in the 30s is when he told his friend. At the end of the 1950s is when they created Disneyland. But the beautiful thing of the story, as you know, where he built Disneyland was nothing but orange trees. It was full of orange fields, which you've seen and I've seen before.
Yeah.
But he saw Disneyland in the middle of the orange trees. So all of you that are watching, you might see your children not doing so well, or your body not doing so well, or your mind is not doing so well. But one thing you're going to learn even at this conference, we're going to teach you how to get a miracle mentality. That you get this mentality so deep in you that even if you're looking at terrible things, you're seeing things from a different perspective. And, being raised in a lower income family like I was, I'm telling you, I had a miracle mentality since I was a tiny child.
You had to.
Had to. No choice.
That's right. That's right. I love that. Before I get to my next question, I want to invite you. We got 2,300 people watching us right now, and we're thankful for you guys for being on this live. Please ask questions, guys. I mean, I want this to be a dynamic discussion. I did take some questions beforehand, but I want to talk, Tim. Can we talk a little bit about manifestation? The importance about manifestation in your life. What is manifestation? Is it just sitting in your couch and saying, I want the mansion, the car, the health? What is manifestation for you? And how do you practice it on a daily basis?
So the word to manifest means to make clear or to make evident. And women, you understand manifestation if you've ever had a child. Because you get pregnant, but for a while you can't see the child. You took a test and you found out I'm pregnant, but you don't see the child. You don't even feel the child. You just know you're pregnant. Then the child begins to grow inside of you. It's the same thing as a dream. So the dream can drop into your soul and you're pregnant with a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then it begins to grow in you. So you cultivate the dream. And then the dream begins to show. Just like a woman starts to show at a certain time, certain months, your dream starts to show. You start to see a need. Oh, I want to fill that need. Oh, my mother and father are in trouble financially. I want to make enough money to take care of my family. So the dream begins to show, but you got to keep cultivating and being healthy and strong in the different areas of your life. So then what happens is that you get ready for the delivery. This is very powerful. Mm-hmm. Every woman knows that when you get ready for delivery, you're focused. Even though your husband has gone to those classes to learn how to who, he. When you're about to deliver, a woman is saying to her husband, get out of the way. And take that camera away. Because the only thing on a woman's mind at that time is, I'm going to have this baby. So the manifestation of the dream is very similar to a woman giving birth to a child. Mm-hmm. And that you're pregnant with this vision, the focus then comes, and then all of a sudden, the dream or the baby is manifested. To manifest makes to mean make clear, make evident. And the beautiful thing about it, it's so many people are pregnant with something big, but they need people like us to help them to get the baby out.
That's right, and it's a wonderful task, and comes with great responsibility. But it's amazing because I wholeheartedly believe, Tim, that when you focus on others, the money will come. When you focus on others on making an impact, the success will come. It's hard sometimes. I'm not gonna say I'm not the perfect manifester out there, but I know that it works. I know that it works, and if you're close, I know you're obviously a religious person, and you're close to God. You got a wonderful congregation in California, which I hope to visit one day. Yeah. I'm Catholic. I was raised a Catholic, and I go to church as much as I can. But I'm always open. God, there's only one God, right? Whether it's Catholic, Christian,
yes.
I don't really care. Talk to me a little bit about. Oh, by the way, some of the folks here are saying hello from Africa. Some folks here just said. I had somebody just say, "Where'd it go?" Hi, Tim. Hi, Tim. We miss you here in South Africa. God bless you.
Hey, that's good news. So I've been to South Africa 21 times.
Wow.
And my crowds, the lowest crowd I have is 6,000. The highest is 21,000.
Wow. Where out of the 75 countries that you've been, you visited, which one sort of, I mean, I'm sure you're proud of all of them, right? Every speech that you've given, but which one sort of surprised you the most?
In Indonesia, I had 85,000 people.
Oh my goodness. That is
so a lot of it is word of mouth, the people finding out about what you can possibly do for their life. I did a event that some of the people watching or probably saw, where we had over 200,000 people. That was an event that just took place a few days ago, and that was virtual. Now, why is that? Because people are hungry for change.
Yeah.
And I have answers. I don't have just quick little sayings. or people's ideas that I took, I have answers. And one of the things is that, you know, when you have a challenge, you have to become awake. And that's another thing you're teaching people. Number two, you got to take inventory. How is my life? How am I really doing? Number three, you got to partner with the right people. So all of you that are watching right now, we're at 2,362. Tell your people that we're on talking about great things that will change their life. You got to become awake, you take inventory, and then you partner with the right people. When I started working with Robert Downey Jr. in the late 90s, he was not Iron Man. He was a guy that was working through difficulties.
Yeah.
But he began to become awake. He took inventory. He partnered with the right people. And then you got to have the right principles. See, the right principles are so important in your life. And that's one of the things that I do in my book, Miracle Mentality, is I break down the principles step by step. Somebody said, how do I get it? It's on Amazon. So that's the cover.
Okay.
And you can get it on Amazon right now. I do the written version and I do the audible. But you got to become awake, take inventory, get the right partners with the right people. Then you have to have the right principles. That's what Jose and I are teaching you today.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And go get the book. It's an amazing book. It's everywhere. Not only is it on Amazon, it's at Target. It's all across the country. Go get the book today. Go change your life. I got somebody here, Tim, that says, Tim, how do you keep yourself focused in a world full of noise?
So what I got to do is I have to turn down the noise, turn down the volume here, turn up the volume on this side. So every morning I wake up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I drink more water, and then I go right to some form of teaching 7 days a week, whether it's a TED Talk, a podcast, a teaching sermon. I will feed my faith every single day, 7 days a week, for the first hour that I awaken to this beautiful planet. So I feed myself strong, and that diminishes all the noise out there. I turn down the noise on purpose. Look, I could turn it down when I want.
Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing way of putting it. I mean, turn down the noise, guys. You control it. It's in your heart. Do that morning routine. Drink a glass of water. Pray. Meditate. You have the power within you to make the changes. But use the principles of people like Tim, people like myself, people like Tony Robbins, whoever, because they've already done it. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. It's all been taught before. I got another great question here, Tim. They say, what happens when you take inventory and you find a member of your own family that is holding you back? How does one pivot?
Number one, that's difficult because it's your own family. But there are 3 levels of relationships. And just know I've been teaching like this for a long time, over 30 years. Number 1 is a casual acquaintance where we're just casual friends. Hey, you're from Los Angeles, so am I. Let's be friends. Yeah. You're from Miami, I'm from Miami. That's the casual acquaintance. Number 2 is the intimate relationship. That's your brothers, your sisters, your mother, your father, somebody you dated. They're more intimate. As people say, you cannot choose your family. You're born into it. So what happens a lot of times is in that intimate place is where people get in trouble because they're close to their family and they speak their vision. But the 3rd level is what I call the green room. Oh, you should be taking notes today. You should be telling your friends we're talking.
That's right.
The green room is the invited guest. So if Jose and I go and speak at a conference, and it's me, Tony Robbins, and Jose, if we walk in, they're going to say, okay, there's your green room, there's your green room, and Tim Storey, there's your green room. Invite who you want in your green room. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, your green room is your private dreams in your life. Don't invite your family into the green room if they shouldn't be there.
That's right. Listen to that.
Just because you live with them doesn't mean you need to tell them your dreams.
That's right.
Very powerful.
And it's hard to do. It's hard to do. I've been through that. You've been through that. The greatest of the greatest have been through that.
I don't tell my family my dreams if they can't handle them. I would tell you before some of my family members.
Yeah, because we're at the same frequency. You got to get people out. You got to talk to people at their energy level.
100%. So another way of saying it is that you cannot get a FM radio station when you're on an AM dial. Mm-hmm. Some of your family is on an AM dial and you are on FM. They don't even understand what you're thinking. They're wondering why you're thinking positive, why you're working out, why you're feeling good, why you're speaking big, why you're dreaming big things. You can't discuss these things. So have a nice dinner with them. Be kind to them. Be a blessing to them. And then come and tell both of us your secrets. I can handle your secrets.
That's right. That's exactly right. One more question that people are asking is this. Talk to me about, you've had many successes, you've had many challenges. Tell me an example. It can be a small thing where you, or a big one, it doesn't matter, that you faced sometime in your life that you faced a challenge, but you came out on top. You came out better. You came out strong.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, I've been married before. The marriage did not work, but in a powerful family. Yeah. So my ex-wife is Mexican, and her dad was powerful. Like he was a person that helped two of our presidents, like a guide and a person who brought advice to two presidents. So that's, you know, that's a high level. And then to not get along with the wife and then to get divorced after 11 years, that was difficult. Mm. But the most difficult was my brother dying, but he struggled with addiction. Mm. So, you know, my father struggled with alcoholism. His father struggled with alcoholism. My brother struggled with alcoholism. But my brother was smart, went to college, worked at McDonnell Douglas as an engineer. But Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, spinning out of control. But then he'd get back up. So he did that for about 25 years, off and on. And his body finally gave out. So that was probably the toughest thing I've been through. And I'll tell you why. Because here I am, Mr. Tim Storey, life coach to the stars, you know? Mm-hmm. And my own brother dies right in my situation.
Wow.
But I did so much to help him. I put him in several rehabs. I was there for him. But I tell you what, it was a difficult thing. And what I learned about life, Jose, this is a tough lesson, is that you cannot change somebody's free will. They have a will, whether they want to cooperate or not cooperate. And unfortunately for him, his free will took him another direction. But still a beautiful man. And I learned so much from my brother, and I honor him every day of my life.
That's exactly right. And you know, and he's part of your memory, of your experiences. But what you said is 100% true. I mean, everyone's got their own free will. We can do all we can, but at the end of the day, they have the ultimate control. They have the ultimate control. Another question, and thank you, man, for spending time, 30 minutes with us, man.
Of course.
Tim, how did you decide to become an entrepreneur? How did you transition from a full-time job to an entrepreneur? Sort of talk to us a little bit about how did the Tim Storey life coach, when did that start?
So the beautiful thing is you don't have to do one thing at one time. And that in my life, I have a background of a doctorate in world religion. Mm-hmm. And so I was known as a man who went around like a John Maxwell, speaking in mega churches, small churches, orphanages, schools. I've even spoken in a supermarket.
Oh, wow.
I would speak everywhere, you guys. And it was never about money. But I had a knack. I had a knack for inventions, ideas.
Yeah.
So as I began to life coach smart people, they would say, "Woo, Tim Storey, your brain." This is when I was like 20, 21. So I started starting little side businesses. And those businesses started growing and growing and growing and growing. And it built me a pretty good little empire we got going here. But it was a step-by-step process. but it was getting around smarter people than myself and learning. I mean, could you imagine? I was trained by Lee Iacocca in business.
Wow.
Vidal Sassoon, Quincy Jones. Those guys were my mentors. I was only in my late 20s.
And that's so very true. You got to surround yourself with a powerful circle in every sense of the word. People who've been through bigger things, they've had bigger companies. I mean, you know, for somebody, you know, you might have someone out there that, I don't know, it's got a $250,000 company, and hey, that's a success in their own right. But if you want to get to $1 million, maybe talk to somebody who's built a $5 million, $10 million company, and then you're like, wow, I thought mine was big. This one is bigger. And I mean that from a really constructive, competitive, sort of friendliness idea. I think really the only person we should be competing with is ourselves every day, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I think the idea is that my vision is to see somebody else's vision happen. But I find that as I was helping somebody else's vision, they would want to chip off a piece of their vision and give it to me. It's true. I'd be life coaching somebody powerful. They say, you know what, Tim, this is a strange thought, but I want to give you 5% of my company. I say, that's very interesting. Are you sure maybe you should check it with your wife or your financial people? No. This is what I'm going to do. This is real talk.
Wow.
They give me 5%. Another guy will give me 10%. Another guy will give me 20%. Starts to add up.
Wow, that's amazing.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.